Hi, I'm an artist, and today let's do a study with me while doing a Q&A because I need something chilling and relaxing. So a few words about the study in the background first. So I was studying some hands using the charcoal brushes, not my favorite soft charcoal brushes as usual, but some other one from a charcoal brush pack that I downloaded from somewhere on the internet. And actually I think it's from one of you guys' recommendation. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's start the Q&A section. And I am pretty nervous and also kind of excited because this is the first time I ever did something like this. So yeah. Anyway, the first one, well, actually it's the first two questions because they are kind of about the same topic. So 01695 asked to talk about colors and your mental / artistic process of picking the right one. And Defect 683 asks, how do you choose colors for a painting? So pretty much about picking colors. And if the goal is picking the exact same colors as the reference material, one of the biggest tips I have for that is lining the reference image right beside your canvas so that you can have a direct comparison between the color you pick and the original color. Like for example, for this portrait study, I put the reference right beside and no, actually I kind of overlapped it on the canvas a little bit so that when I put out the color I picked, they were right side by side to each other, so it was really easy to see how far I was in terms of accuracy, so that I can make some adjustment accordingly. But to be honest, I don't think we need to stress that much about picking the exact same color, because if you decided what colors you would use beforehand and didn't really stray too far from them, the painting will be fine. Like for example here with this hand, in the beginning I chose like 2 or 3 colors that were not like the exact match to the reference, but as long as I don't suddenly like throw in there a weird neon orange out of nowhere, it will be fine. Yeah. And also sometimes I do intentionally pick colors that are a little bit brighter and more saturated than the reference, especially with the transparent and glossy stuff, because I find those kind of color will create a more bling bling look. Yeah, and I like things to be extra sparkling. So yeah, sometimes color choices do come down to personal taste, So that was the first questions, and the next one is from Mikan Kapi. Oh, like capybara. Oh, that's cute. Okay, anyway, Mikan Kapi asks, since you usually draw textured or glossy materials, what is your favorite material to draw? So, well, for this one, it actually depends on what I am working on at that moment. Like if I draw something and it turns out really really nice, and then I get really high and started to find a bunch more references about that specific material and basically fall in love with it. Yeah, and then the high wears down, and same as my feeling for the materials as well, until the next time I paint something else, and then the cycle continues. And also this only happens with things that actually look good, if they don't, then none of it won't even happen at all. Yeah. So at the moment, one of the latest things I was working on was this study you are seeing right here, and yes, it did turn out pretty fine in my personal opinion. So you can say that currently my favorite material is skin, especially hands. Like me love it, and I found me a ton more hand picks to study in the future. So the third question is from Suchuto Doodles. Yeah. How do you break down complicated reference or images? I personally have a horrible habit of getting overwhelmed by details, so I would love to know what you do to simplify. Oh, this question really comes at the perfect timing. Doing this hand study made me understand a lot of things about simplifying stuff. So I don't know if you noticed this in the beginning, but I started painting this study with just only like 2 colors, one really light one and one really dark one. And I tried my best to block out the whole hand with just those 2 colors. And once I was happy with how the blocking turned out, I started to add some transitional colors and one super duper dark one, and then slowly building up the rest of the details from there. So that's something I really recommend you trying if you are struggling with simplifying details. Just starting your piece with a really limited colors, like only 2 or 3 of them, and then slowly, and I repeat, really slowly adding more colors when you need more. And also another tip I have for this is maybe trying not to zoom in too much, especially in the beginning phase. Like doing that will force you to focus more on the big shapes. And even when you start to add details, keep a close eye on the overview docker if you are using Krita. If you use other programs, then it is the thing that allows you to see the whole painting. Anyway, try to glance at that more often, and it will help you a lot when you are lost in the details. So the next question is from Sadhoff. I'm really sorry if I pronounce it weirdly. So the question is, I wanted to ask about how you do study. Like you try to copy the model, or do you try understanding the properties of what you are drawing? So for this, I will say I focus more on the understanding what I'm studying. Like as I just said for the previous questions, I will try my best to break the study subject down into big, simple shapes and trying to understand how the values work and how the light interacts with the kind of material I am studying. And maybe exploring how I can spice things up to my liking while still maintaining the same material, so that I can apply all this knowledge into the paintings I want to make in the future. But at the same time, because I almost always make my study into videos to post on social media, specifically YouTube, so I do try to make my study look as pretty and as palatable as possible in order to make a good looking thumbnail. So that does involve copying the pretty model to some certain extent. So overall, I do think for me, it is a balance between copying and understanding what I am trying to study. Okay, so that has been some pretty long answer. So let's do a short one next. So Muhammad Hamza, I think. Again, I'm really sorry if I butchered your name. Have you ever been curious about clay modeling or sculpting? And yes, I do. And actually, I do think about making a figurine for my muse, like the Scallop Mermaid Lady. But all of that stuff is still in the thinking about phase. Like, I don't think I can try any sculpting anytime soon in the future. But still, thanks for asking. I do want to. And next is from Antidote, and it's actually 2 questions. The first one is, I would love to know about what were you into painting and what have been you studying in it. And the second one is, what technique or method you would recommend practicing to get better at proportions. So for the first one, what got me into painting? Well, for this one, actually I couldn't really remember when the very first time I drew something was, but all I know was just that I had been into drawing and painting for as long as I could even remember. And I guess I liked drawing because I felt like I was pretty good at it, so I just like doing that. And that's also kind of the same reason that keeps me continue with drawing and painting. Like I always get really high, like a big sense of achievement and proud of myself whenever I could paint something well. And I guess I am kinda addicted to that feeling, which admittedly doesn't sound very healthy, but that's the best way I could describe that. And like I will continue to draw and paint so that I could experience that feeling just one more time, and then one more time, and another time. And yeah, that sounds even more sickening than I expected it to be. But anyway, the second question about proportion, and this is something I am currently still very struggling with. So the best thing I could say right now is maybe measuring more. I am really sorry that I couldn't really provide anything more than this, but that's the best thing I could think of. And to be honest, I also should practicing measuring more, but it just is so boring. Yeah. And next silver comment asked if I could focus more on scenery and background. So yes, I do want to study more background, specifically perspective and stuff. Like I do know some of the basic, but it has been a long time since the last time I ever touched that topic. And also, I never tried the bird eye view, like the very fancy three viewpoint stuff. So I do want to give that a try, even though it intimidates the hell out of me. But that seems to make a good video, so I do want to do that. And next, 7 Nightshed asks, why do you say you have no experience making friends? And oh, a personal one. Well, first of all, I have to clarify this very important part. I did in fact have experience making friends in school and university, which means I did have some success in terms of friend making economy. It's just that I struggle a lot with maintaining those relationships when I finished school and university. So yes, I'm currently having no friend at all. And yes, I know it sounds kinda bad and it is something I should work on myself, but personally I don't really want to force a relationship, like any kind of relationship, on anyone. So I will let life take me wherever it wants. And also, please don't worry too much. I do have my family as my very very strong support system, and I also try my best to be attentive to my mental state, so everything is fine. Don't worry too much about me, just enjoy the videos. And okay, final questions of the day from Fig SSMH. How do I make her come back? Fig, we need context. Does she live on her own or with anyone else? Please provide us some context, Fig, please. So that's pretty much all the questions. Thank you so much for all of them. Like, I was worried no one was gonna show up in that post, so I even thought about making my siblings fabricate some questions for me to answer, but still thank you so much. Anyway, hope you have a great day/night ahead and see you later.